I'd like to know what other country in the world would have arrested a 78-year-old old-age pensioner for defending his wife and defending his house in the middle of the night. I know of no other country where he would have been arrested. And he's been arrested. It shows the decadence, the depths to which our country has sunk. The Crown Prosecution Service, the not-fit-for-purpose Home Office, the common purpose Chief Constables, the whole rabble that now run our country. I can't believe he's been arrested. I'm furious, and I bet you're furious too. But let me just say one thing. Let me make one thing very clear. I'm still pretty fit. I'm ex-army, and this is my old army sword. This is my old army sword. Okay? You break into my house in the middle of the night. You dare do something like that, and you'll get this. Make no mistake, you'll get this. As is my freeborn right as an Englishman, defend my family. I will defend my half, I will defend my family with my old regimental sword, and the Crown Prosecution Service can go to the devil.
He was a member of the EU Parliament for 10 years, and his speeches in the chamber attracted over 70 million views, exposing state, bank, and tax malpractice, as well as deep state corruption. There's so much to cover, Godfrey. I don't know where to begin, but what about that viral video of you a few weeks ago where you pulled out your sword? Tell folks about that.
There was a chap who was attacked in the middle of the night. He wrested the knife off the guy, and he stabbed him with it and killed him. And bloody good job too. And that's what we should also do. And I got really cross when he was arrested, and I threatened everybody with my sword if they broke into me at the middle of the night. That's what they'd get.
Why is the government of the UK and also the US and other liberal governments just worshiping and coddling criminals? What is the unifying end game, Godfrey?
Well, I think there's a desire to break down, as all with communists and socialists, is to break down, if you can, society so you can install the system that you want. So we have to get to a total breakdown before this can actually happen. And so what they're trying to do is break it down. And they do it by a method of secret societies. So one of the leading secret societies we have here at the moment is an organization called Common Purpose. And you have to be a member of that if you're going to be promoted. It's sort of secret handshakes and stuff like that. And they're all committed to actually not work with the people who pay their salaries, but work against them. So we've got ourselves into this terrible mess, this terrible situation, and we've really got to do something about it. But we can't do anything about it until we get rid of those people, and we get rid of our civil service who are all making this happen. Our civil service now runs the country, not politicians. And I rather think in the United States, you're finding that out as well. Oh, I think, Alex, this is something the East German police, the Stasi, would have died for. This is far, far in advance of anything they were allowed to do. You can now get arrested, and it's actually happened, for quoting the Bible. You can stand in the market square and quote bits of the Bible, and you can be arrested for it for disturbing the peace. You know, we live in this absolutely crazy situation, but we also live in a situation where if it's Islam, you're bulletproof. You cannot be arrested. And if you're a politician, if you come from an ethnic minority, you can pretty well say exactly what you like. You can say anything what you like. If you are white or middle class or of the indigenous population, you will be horribly vilified straight away. So the whole thing's been turned on its head. It's really quite upsetting. And of course, the whole country is absolutely bewildered by it. And we got rid of the House of Lords, which was our amending chamber. It was politicized by Tony Blair. Because although it was a rather eccentric organization, the House of Lords, it actually had people who were real lords, not fake lords that we have now, people that were real earls and dukes and viscounts, whose families had been in this country for years and years and years. So they had the stewardship of the country at their heart. They were great stewards of the country. And it was a force, broadly speaking, for good and common sense. That's all changed now. They put cronies in. They're all failed politicians, civil servants with hidden agendas. So consequently now, they don't represent anybody. They certainly don't represent the country. And of course, they're quite open about the fact now they're trying to thwart Brexit, which is the will of the people. The House of Commons mandated the electorate to vote. The Prime Minister wrote a letter to every family in the land saying that the Commons, the House of Commons, would carry out the will of the people on this, whether they voted yes or no. And of course, the Prime Minister said of the day, David Cameron, we ought to vote to stay. But he said, if you don't vote to stay, we'll carry out your wishes. And then what people forget is that we had a general election within just a few months. And on both red and blue, Labour and Conservative, of course, we've got red and blue just like you. You've got Democrats or Republicans. We have Labour or Conservative. We get the choice of two very poor choices, incidentally, I'm afraid, very poor choices. And so what actually happens there is that these people have thwarted the will of the people, because on both red and blue, the manifesto was to leave. It was to carry out Brexit. So the whole country, 72 million people voted to leave the European Union, and nobody's taking the slightest bit of notice, because we're no longer run by the people, by the electorate. We're run by a small cabal of people in Parliament and the civil service.
Exactly. Wouldn't it be fair to say you've traded out hereditary royalty and people that actually then went along with the Magna Carta and the whole new system that became the world model of freedom, and have replaced it with shadowy international mega cartels that have created new bureaucratic royalty whose goal is total division of the population, the atomization of it for absolute hegemonic control. I mean, this is the great game writ large to the next level, trying to, directly destroy culture. And A, do you agree with that? And B, how big is the pushback? We see populism exploding. We see a lot of people awakening to this. But is that death throes, or is that major pushback?
Well, there's a lot of people are surprised, because obviously as a graduate of the Royal College of Defence Studies and being an ex-politician and a member of the Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee, I'm used to dealing with these people. And I just knew how much power that they had. But I think the ordinary population here are beginning to understand by whom they are governed. These people, they've never heard of these people. These people are popping up all over the place. People are saying in the pubs and clubs, especially in the north of England, who are these people? I've never heard of these people. And what you've got to understand, and it's the same as America. It's no different. I've visited America a lot, and I've got a lot of American friends. What you've got to bear in mind in the United Kingdom, it's a little bit like, imagine being on a train where all the passengers want to go to Birmingham, but of course they all vote to go to Birmingham, but the driver of the train and the conductor of the train don't think that's a good idea. They want to go to Edinburgh. It doesn't matter how much...
Stay there, Godfrey Bloom. We'll talk about it on the other side in Common Purpose as well. This is critical.
Well, I expect you've heard about this old-age pensioner who's been arrested by the police for defending his home from two thugs in the middle of the night who were threatening his wife, threatening to rob him. They were armed with screwdrivers, a couple of nasty thugs. And I know it's subjudice, but it seems like he dispatched one of them and set one of them off in defense of his home. Now, I'd like to know what other country in the world would have arrested a 78-year-old old-age pensioner for defending his wife and defending his house in the middle of the night. I know of no other country where he would have been arrested. And he's been arrested. It shows the decadence, the depths to which our country has sunk. The Crown Prosecution Service, the not-fit-for-purpose Home Office, the common purpose Chief Constables, the whole rabble that now run our country. I can't believe he's been arrested. I'm furious, and I bet you're furious too. Particularly interesting because I used to live in Hither Green when I was in London. I lived in Hither Green for many years. My grandmother lived in Hither Green for many scores of years. And it's not a particularly rough sort of place. I just can't believe that this has happened, and that he's been arrested. But let me just say one thing. Let me make one thing very clear. I'm still pretty fit. I'm ex-army, and this is my old army sword. This is my old army sword. Okay? You break into my house in the middle of the night, you dare do something like that, and you'll get this. Make no mistake, you'll get this, as is my freeborn right as an Englishman, defend my family. I will defend my half, I will defend my family with my old regimental sword, and the Crown Prosecution Service can go to the devil.
You know, someone very profoundly once said, many years ago, that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Have you got mental health issues?
Yeah.
Right, so you're talking about killing my kids. How have I found you before the police have found you? How have I got you here before the police have found you? Where are you running to? I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you. You're threatening to murder my children, bruv. I'm not going to hurt you, okay? If I wanted to hurt you, I'd already hurt you.
Okay.
I'm not going to hurt you. You're threatening to murder my children. How do you think, bruv, if you've got mental health issues, you need help, bruv. If that's the case, if you're standing in front of me now, yeah? Are you going to come to my house and hurt my family?
No.
So why are you saying it, kid?
Someone keep brainwashing.
Someone's brainwashing you, and I can tell someone's brainwashing you. Who's brainwashed you?
Ali Dawa.
Ali Dawa's brainwashed you to kill my kids.
I got that from YouTube, actually. Someone said he'll kill someone and take his money.
Take his merchandise, like some Islamic.
Have an arm wrestle.
Can you have an arm wrestle, see, mate? Look, listen, bro.
Friendly one.
Friendly one?
They always go, friendly, friendly. No, I am your friend. I am only saying this to sell T-shirts, my friend. That's why all over the world, no Christians or Jews or anyone else is allowed to live in our countries, and we take your women and we rape and kill you. But I am your friend. I am mentally ill.
I love your impression, Alex. But after a couple of minutes, I felt like I was talking to a 10-year-old. Now, I'd say I'm quite a good judge, and I know the same. Most of the time when I find people or see people who said they're going to beat me up or hurt me, they melt or their arse goes. With him, I genuinely believe, well, I believed, and I found out now, because he's actually now sectioned in an assessment centre in London. He's previously been sectioned. He suffers from schizophrenia, but that doesn't make him less dangerous. That makes him as dangerous. And then the name he mentions, when he says Ali Dawa brainwashed him, Ali Dawa is a Muslim preacher in London who targets 14 to 16-year-old children. Now, the most dangerous thing about this, which I believe the police probably intentionally left it like this, if I caught up with him, which I did, and they probably knew I was going to go and catch up with him, because if you read the stuff he said about my children, any father would go get him. Now, whenever they're aimed at me, I'm bothered, but I'm not been as bothered. Now, then they start aiming at my children and my wife. They're going to murder my children. This gentleman here said he's going to rape my daughter, chop her up, he's going to slaughter her throat, he's going to cut my mother. Now, my intention to go there was to citizen's arrest. If the police aren't going to arrest him, I'm taking him. And I'm going to drag him down the police station and bring him in there and say, you do something about him. The British public are more awake than they've ever been. The reception I get now across the whole country is positive. The label that they've attacked me and beat me down with of racist is gone. No one ever says that anymore. They just say I'm against Islam or anti-Islam. So, yeah, I'd say that people are waking up, and I'm so glad that through the media or alternative media, we have an opportunity to speak to people direct.
Years ago, InfoWars Life created the powerful MycoZX formula to help you combat internal yeast. As the years went on and more toxins were pumped into the environment, our team knew we had to create a bigger and better formula to help support your gut health. MycoZX Plus is the result of the search for that formula, a unique natural formula designed to support the body's natural cleansing of yeast and fungal organisms. There's no better product to help your body fight back. MycoZX Plus helps support a healthy microbial balance in the body, supports your digestive tract, and addresses the intestinal yeast that can cause you problems if it goes unchecked. Powered by an impressive list of ingredients, including grapefruit seed extract, pau d'arco bark, and grapeseed extract, our formula is fueled by ingredients that stood the test of time as powerful microbalancing properties. Pick up a bottle of the new and improved MycoZX Plus today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
We will make America great again.